Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. Now, one thing I've learned in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. Without a doubt, I think today's guest is dealing with some of life's biggest questions. So here we go. His name is Bill Edgar. Bill made worldwide headlines a few years back as the Coffin Confessor. He's paid by the dying to gatecrash their funerals once they're gone and carry out their dying wishes. Hardly your regular 9 to 5. In the last few years, Bill has extended the services he offers and has written a book about it, and also what he's learned from the dying in his book that I've just read, which is the Afterlife Confessional. Bill is with me from Australia. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing? And thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm really rapt to have you. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Oh, excellent. That's really nice to hear.
I think you've got the best job in the world. But anyway, the other thing I thought I was going to say at this point is that Bill can be a bit of a sweary bear, and we all know I can be a little bit as well. So if you're going to be offended, then just don't listen.
Oh, come on. I'm from the country, and you guys are from the country that once were warriors.
Exactly. But I was trying to explain to some young people the other day who are all in the tradies and they're good, I call them kids, anyone under 30 is a kid to me. And I said to them, swearing is fine, but we do it for emphasis, not for just not every third word, you know. It's cool when it's got an emphasis, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the only time I use it is when I, basically... Yeah, for emphasis, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, quick fire questions. If you go to the pub for a drink with any celebrity, who would it be?
No one.
No one. You don't really like them?
No, I'm not into it, and I don't go to pubs either.
Yeah.
So, it's my thing, my personal thing. I'm not into any of that type of stuff. I've worked with celebrities. I've been a bodyguard for, Jimmy Barnes. I've done a lot of things in my life, and to be honest with you, they're all just people.
That's what I was going to say. Aren't most of them just normal people?
Yeah, they are. They're just normal people, and they're all trying to get by in life just like we all are. Some have better opportunity, or they've grabbed that opportunity and run with it. Good on them.
Yeah. But it doesn't, I was sort of saying to someone the other day, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, doesn't matter where you are. At some stage in your life, we all go through death, we all go through divorces somewhere in our family, someone gets sick, someone's kid bloody takes drugs that they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, life happens to you no matter kind of who you are or where you live or what your job is.
That's right. And that's the journey for all of us. It's the final journey that we all are going to be taking. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get across, that every person on the planet's going to die.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do. So stop worrying about, the little shit. Get rid of the stuff that's in your life that's just holding you back or weighing you down and move on. Yeah. Enjoy life.
Okay, Now I did it a bit in the intro, but there'll be a whole lot of people listening right now that have no idea what you do. And now we're going to delve into it. You've got some great stories, and I do want to talk about, I've got so many questions. But do you want to explain in your own words kind of what your day job is or night job?
Yeah, so I'm engaged by the deceased prior to them dying to attend their funeral, to crash their funeral, and tell those that were loved how much they were loved, and those my clients love to hate to fuck off.
And so you literally do that, right? So you literally go along, eulogy started. I take funerals, by the way, so there is a part of me as I was reading it going, oh, my God, I'd be horrified.
Yeah, look, how
am I going to pull this room together once Bill's left,
I sit amongst family and friends, and I'm engaged to either stand up mid-eulogy or at a certain time. It's always my clients' timing. They allow me to obviously have a little bit of input, but I'll say to them, look, if it's your best mate and he's done the wrong thing by you, do you want me to get up mid-eulogy and tell him to stop the crocodile tears and all the bullshit and just get on with it? Or do you want, and I'll leave it to them, and they'll come out with some, most people on their deathbed come out with some great things because it's their last say. It's all they've got left.
Yeah. So. And there's not a lot going on, right? So you've got a lot of time in your own head.
A lot of time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, should we quickly tell the story of Graham? Because I think it is, I know that you've told it so many times, but it does encompass exactly what and how it started and what you do. So Graham's dying.
Oh, absolutely. Graham was my first client. I was working for him in the field of private investigator, which I am. I'm in the finance world, so I was investigating his finances. Graham was on his deathbed. We spoke about death, life, and everything in between. And I said to Graham, do your own eulogy if you want to do something. And he said, look, I've been to too many funerals and the family view the eulogy first and they say whether it goes on or not. And I don't want that. And I said, okay. I said, and it was a joke. I just said out of a joke, Graham, I could always crash your funeral for you, mate. And he said, oh, yeah, that sounds reasonable. That sounds all right. And a couple of weeks later, I get a text from Graham saying, you're going to crash my funeral for me.
And so you crashed his funeral, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah, and he was watching a whole lot of stuff go on with his so-called best mate that just was not cool, and he wanted him to be called out for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing for me as an investigator. I didn't want to just crash a funeral without having the facts. So I needed to know the facts. So I asked Graham if I could set up a couple of cameras in his house. And within 24 hours, I had everything I needed on this scumbag of a mate that he had.
And he was absolutely hating on the missus. Oh, God.
Big time. And trying to take over the family type thing. And it was so sick and revolting watching this absolute predator. And I thought, you know what, Graham? Not a problem in the world, mate. I'll go and I'll do that. And then Graham said to me, listen, he said, also, just to let you know, if my brother, his wife and their daughter attend my funeral, please tell them to fuck off. I haven't seen them in 30 years. They're vultures in the family. Get rid of them.
Wow.
Not a problem. Yeah.
So you walk in, you sit down, you're nervous. It's the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're sitting there and the heart's racing a bit, and you're thinking about the moment. And then, so-called best mate gets up there and I'm here to speak on behalf of Graham. He's been my best mate for the last, 50 years. And, I'm just going to miss. And then you stand up, right?
Oh, yeah, I stand straight up and I say, excuse me, my name's Bill Edgar. Sit down, shut up or fuck off. The man in the coffin's got something to say and this is what it is. and I open the envelope I open the envelope and pull out the letter that Graham wrote and I read aloud exactly what it was and that's what I did. And it was, and honestly, I thought that was it. I thought that was the whole job, never to be done again, something, a one-off. But no, it just went nuts. It was crazy. I left that funeral only to do another one and then the doors opened everywhere. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk a lot more about that and some of those. So, but talk to me about some of your upbringing because, you mentioned Once Were Warriors before. I mean, you are the son of a gangster, but it's a bit different than that, right? That former street kid, you've talked about, you've talked about the abuse that you've suffered. And so how do you think that kind of upbringing has impacted on you and some of the decisions you made in the earlier years?
Oh, the earlier years, I mean, look, my childhood was stolen at the age of 7, all the way through. I never had a childhood or a religion. That was stolen as well through the church and the schools. But I got to say, without me going through that, through my whole life and the torment and the trauma and everything, it probably wouldn't have set me up to do what I do today. And I do mention like the Once Were Warriors thing, Jake the Muss and all that. I've stood in front of people 10 times harder than him, and it's not because I was I wanted to. I was forced to. I was incarcerated in a prison in Australia at the age of just 17. And back then 17 is a lot different to what a 17-year-old is today. So in 1984, a 17-year-old was like, I was a little kid. And I was forced to do certain things, but I lived on the streets. I'd done a lot of things prior to being 15 years of age. It was a shocking life, absolutely shocking.
Yeah. And so do you think that, because what you do takes guts, right? Like it does.
It's not for the faint-hearted.
It's not for the faint-hearted, at all. And so do you think some of that, and there must be some of what you see, it's like, mate, for what I've lived through, just
for
nothing.
Sure. And that's what gives me the I suppose the courage to do what I do because, I'll see some people's lives and I get to see their personal, deepest, darkest secrets, fantasies, desires, whatever it is. I get to see it. And none of them have come close to my life yet. So I'm happy to do what I'm doing, you know.
And you sort of say, and I believe you, and that you have no judgment, you know what I mean? Like, because people confess to you, you know, you've because I should say that, you know, that the role of kind of being the coffin confessor is sort of, you call yourself a concierge for the dying as well now. So there's a lot more of that, hey, I've got something hidden in my house that I don't want anyone to see. Can you please go and get it? So, you know, like I might just have a final wish that I don't want a family member to do. I want someone that's actually not personally involved, and that's a lot of what you do now.
Oh, absolutely. I do home sweeps, I call them. So I go to people's homes and I remove sensitive items they don't want their family and friends to find. And for example, I mean, the first time I ever did that job was an 88-year-old man on palliative care. And I didn't realise that elderly people, yes, they have a fall at home, they go to hospital, but they get told they're never going home again. So they can't retrieve their items. And this gentleman, he basically had what you'd call, it was a sex dungeon, but he's 88 years of age, but it wasn't bad. It was a romantic type of setting. It was ridiculous, but for him, and he had all these women in their 60s, 70s, 80s that loved him, and, you know, but he had 3 sons, and he would mortified if they were to walk in his house and find this secret room. So he asked me to go in and clean it out for him. And between me and his palliative care nurse, you know, everything was done nicely and it was incinerated. And I'd take the video back to my client and I'd show him and he'd go, oh, wow. He said, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Because he can rest in peace.
Absolutely. And that's what most of my clients want to do. They either want to rest in peace or they want to go out with a bang, letting the family know that they're all a pack of pricks or whatever else, you know.
Yeah. So two things from that. So one is, as I said, I believe you. You say you don't judge people, but you do judge the assholes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it gets to this stage where can you really judge a dying person? I mean, do you have the right to judge them? I mean, it's their life. They've lived it, and now it's ending. You know, my judgment, yes, is cast towards those that have done the wrong thing by those people. But that's human nature. We all do that. But I try not to judge anybody in a way that, like if a client comes to me and he says, look, you know, I've been screwing with the neighbour's wife and my wife doesn't know, and can you please talk to her face to face? And I'm like, I can do that, but why didn't you? You know, and then I'll put that on them and they'll say, you know what, Bill, who would have been with me in my last 3 months of life? You know, I have no one. And I'd say to them, look, you know, I'll try compassionately to tell them that, you know, but it sounds to me like you're sucking the life out of them just for you to live your last 3 months of life, you know, for care. But again, maybe they will live on knowing that you're a bit of a prick and they can happily go about and do whatever they want now. They're free.
Or do you need to know? And you do say that in your book. You know, there are people that are, you know, do they need to know? You know, like, I mean, some things they do. Quite frankly, if you're an absolute arsehole and you've been treating you know, like that guy, you're Graham's bloody mate. But then there's, you know, I've been having an affair with a neighbour for frickin' 3 years. It's like, wow, so I'm losing who I thought was my wonderful, caring husband. And now I'm finding out that you haven't been. So I've got to deal with shame, embarrassment, everything else as well.
And that's where I'll sit with the client and say to them, look, do they really need to know that part? Maybe just say you had an affair and leave it at that, you know, and if you really want to out them, or just take it with you, you know, take it with you, because, I mean, you're only going to hurt the wife or whoever else around you, but it's not my call. I'm just the messenger. I can only go about what they ask me to do. But there are certain circumstances, I guess, where just recently a lady that I attended her funeral, and I told her husband that she's been seeing multiple men.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, and I said, but you've been seeing multiple women and she already knew, so sucked in, you know.
So my second bit to that as well, though, was the judgment thing, which I think you're absolutely right. I honestly, as long as it's legal, you do you. But do you really believe, because you say it repeatedly, that everyone has a secret? I've been trying to
absolutely.
think. Well, I've been trying to think if I've got a secret, and can't think of a secret. Do you think I'll think of it on my dying bed?
It may not be a sexual, vindictive or something deep, dark or anything like that. It might just be a secret as in you might it could be a cross-dresser, or it could be somebody that likes to do certain things that other people would find a bit insensitive, or, whatever it is. But I do believe everybody has a secret. Yeah, a skeleton in the closet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll believe you. So is it a risky job? Like, there must be times. Have you had physical altercations?
No, not really. I mean, I've been told that if they didn't like what they were hearing, that I'd end up in the coffin with my client. But at the same time, look, what I do is I get the crowd on my side very, very fast by telling them that this is their loved one laying in the coffin. It's not my words, it's theirs. You've come to celebrate their life. How about you listen? It's their funeral, not yours. Listen to what they have to say. And then all of a sudden, 90% of the crowd want to know what's going on. Anybody else that stands up or interjects, they're shouted down by the crowd. Yeah.
So it's not you. You don't have to worry about it. But you do give one example of a guy who's, and tell everyone the story, the guy that's obviously dying, and then he wants you to go in because he's got some money hidden and he doesn't want it to go to his family, and he's got something personal in that box as well. And you go to the house and his family are already in there cleaning it out. And you...
Oh, that's I mean, that's happened a few times now where it's so... And that's, again, people will say, oh, that's human nature. No, it's not. It's bullshit. It's greed. It's theft. It's just, it's not love for the person dying or laying in on their deathbed. And these vultures are in the house going through all this gentleman's stuff. And they couldn't find what they needed to find. Well, I knew exactly where to go and locate.
But
this
you
stuff.
weren't expecting them to be there, though, right?
Oh no,
you pull up to the house and everyone's in there.
Yeah.
So you
not ransacking the house. Some people are taking items and putting them in the boots of their cars. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
But you got to man up at that point, right? Do you just you just made the decision to stride on through, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I just went in, didn't talk to anybody, got what I had to get, and I'm basically leaving. And they're all, I'm going to call the police and do that. And I offered to call the police for them, or, and I said, you're breaking the law. I'm not. I've got the keys. I've got access. I know where everything is and I know what's going on, But that's the vultures, and that's what I deal with. And I got to say, there was a lady on her deathbed in the hospital and her son walked in while I'm talking to her, trying to take the rings off her finger while she's still alive.
Oh, my God.
So he could hock him because he can't get his car going and shit like that. And I'm like, get out. You're kidding me. Like, seriously.
Oh, that's awful. Do you think, though, that you see the worst in people and that actually most people are not like that?
Oh, most people aren't like that. I just see the worst in certain people that are like that. And, I've always said since 2018 when I started this job is where there's a will, there's a relative.
But because you give quite a lot of examples in the books of those vultures, and I completely believe you. But then my own mother's in private care at the moment because she has to be, and I'm there every day, and I just see the most lovely people. And
there's some beautiful people. Even the staff are beautiful people that look after these people. I mean, I could not do what half of them do because they're just so they're blessed people in a way that it's just ridiculous that they have their own lives, their own torments, their own troubles, their own everything, financials, whatever it is, and yet they still go to a place and care for people like your mother.
Yeah.
And with a smile and a heart as big as it. I just don't. They need more than what they get, and they need a lot of support, and they need more money, and they need help because, one lady, and a quick example was one lady, I'm in palliative care. She's a nurse. She's looking after like a ward of, say, 5 to 10 people she's looking after. And she left. I'm about to leave, and I go downstairs. She's on the phone standing next to my car or near my car, and she's going, oh, please don't leave me. I love you so much. Please be home when I get home. And I'm like, fuck, this lady's going through all that, and then she's got to go back after that phone call and look after the dying.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
She's got so much going on in her own personal life, and we don't see them like that, do we? We see the uniform.
No.
We just think, well, you are here to care for.
That's right.
Whereas,
and you look after, and some people will treat them like that and say, hey, you're here to care for my mum or my dad. Bloody look after them. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Forgetting that they're actually people too,
Yeah.
They've got a life.
And there is something in that. And my West Auckland, we have a rather big Croatian community who are freaking fantastic. And I did an initiative once where I felt we needed to care for our carers. So they would do all this baking for our doctors and our nurses.
That's beautiful.
Because they were amazing cooks. And they loved it, right? But it was like, it's exactly like you say, like, how are we caring for the people that we desperately need to care for us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gone a bit. Hey, so you're often, well, sometimes asked to do illegal stuff. Like one person wanted you to burn their money, didn't they? So is that
in Australia, it's illegal to burn any currency, but it's not illegal to bury it. And when I let him know this, side of the law and what was going on, he said, well, bury it. And I want you to find a great place to bury it. And I'm like, well, where the fuck am I going to bury this stuff that no one's going to find? And it came to me at another funeral when I was actually standing at the gravesite and I'm looking down at the grave and I went, holy shit, I wonder if I could jump in there, dig a hole, bury what I need to, and then wait for my client to go on top and then him buried. And lo and behold, I could, and I did.
Wow. Wow. Because people throw some weird shit in with the coffin and all that sort of stuff. My brother died. We would his mate. So we were all sitting there, standing there crying. And the next thing you hear this clunk, and we sort of went, what? And it was his mates all throwing in cans of Lion Red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, I go to viewings and place items in coffins all the time, and I pinprick the body because people are petrified of being buried alive.
No,
so,
hold on a minute. I don't think people got that. So what? So I'm dying and I'm going to pay you to pinprick me.
Yeah, look, my client was petrified of being cremated alive. And he needed to be pinpricked because he said, please, please, please make sure I'm dead. He said, treat my body as a pin cushion. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do that? But I found a way. Yeah, I had a couple of minutes at the viewing, personal minutes. And I had to video myself doing what I did, and it's one of those things.
Okay, tell him then about the guy that he wanted a phone, wasn't it? So he literally, in case he got buried alive, so he could, I don't know how he was going to ring someone.
Oh, he's not the only one. That's happened. I've probably done probably about 13, 14 of those now, where I place a phone in the coffin because the people are either petrified of waking up, and they've got their phone, not so much to call, but they've got a torch, they've got memory photos, videos and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
I thought, okay, that's fair. I can understand that. Other people will take it, even though I've wiped the browser and everything I've tried to do for them, they still want to take it with them just in case.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, here was me saying I had no secrets, and then I was like, would I really want someone going through my phone when I died? I don't know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Not that I think there's anything that interesting, but it's just like, out of context and all that crap. Okay, here we go. And then I'm going to wind this up so we can go into the advice segment because you're going to have so much good advice. I loved the bit on Ash Traveller. Would you mind explaining to people about that and about what you did? Because I can't get I keep thinking about it and I'm not. I'm with you though. I'm throwing my ashes at sea because I'm an absolute ocean worshipper. But tell me about Ash Traveller.
Yeah, so a gentleman came to me a while ago now and he said, look, I want to travel the world. I want my ashes to travel the world. And I set up this whole thing for him. And then he said, you know what? No, I don't now. And I said, okay, it's up to you. People can change their mind anytime. But it couldn't get out of my head. I couldn't get it out of my head. And I kept thinking, what can I do for my dad? I've had his ashes for like 30 years sitting in certain places in my garage or house, and I just forget about them. And then 2 years later, I'll see them again and go, oh, shit, they're still there. And then I came up with the idea, Ash Traveller, and I placed my dad in 4 flasks. Like drinking flasks, port flasks, and I sealed them. But on the inscription, I said, look, if you find me along your travels, either be it wherever you are, place me on a train, plane or bus or wherever, and leave me for the next to do the same. And so I sent him all over the world. I posted one to Ireland, England, America, and one in Australia. Well, the American one, they didn't like him, so they sent him back. And so what I did is I was at a truck stop one day, and I spoke to this guy, and I said, "Where are you off to, mate?" And he goes, "Western Australia." And I said, "Oh, from Queensland to Western Australia. That's a nice trip." The old man's probably not been there before, so I snuck him on the truck, just placed him in there, and off he went.
Wow.
So they're all floating around now.
Yeah, so someone would love that, to think that they're just out there,
Absolutely.
and just still on this journey of life or something like that, which is... Okay, What do you think is the most outrageous thing someone has asked you to do?
I definitely pinprick the body. Has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
That is weird,
Besides, I haven't done it yet, but I have got a request, and he's paid a deposit for me to go to the viewing, strip him naked, flip him over, and write "kiss this" on his ass. So when all his family come in to view him, that's what they see.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good on him. You've turned requests down. Is there a line that you won't cross?
Yeah, I won't act for a third party. So if you were to engage me and say, "Look, I want you to crash my mum's funeral," no. If your mum engaged me, yes, but I will not do a third party because it's too hard to find the truths. I'd rather go direct to the person and the source and say, "Okay, well, you've done this, you've done that, great, we can go on that and I can look into it." A third party, if you say, "Crash my mum's funeral and tell her she's a bitch," well, that's you thinking she's a bitch. She might have been a lovely lady to a million other people.
Yeah.
Let me hear from her. Yeah. So, yeah, a third party.
And you won't break the law, right?
I walk a very fine line, but I won't break it, no.
No. Have you thought about franchising? Because I was just thinking we need one in New Zealand at least.
Oh, yeah, I travel the world doing what I do. Yeah, but my problem is, and I've been offered a lot of money, and a lot of the ideas have come forward to franchise and do this as a business globally, but my integrity is everything, and you can steal from the dead so easily in this job.
Oh.
You get paid up front. Mine goes into a trust and it gets released per job I do.
Yeah.
Other could set it up and take the money and not even do it.
Well, and even as we were saying, the guy that wanted his money burnt or buried or whatever, how do you know that it's been done and that they haven't just actually taken the money?
That's right. And I get paid very well, so I don't need to worry about that.
Well, and you've got your own integrity, right? I couldn't live with myself.
Well, without the integrity, I mean, it'd be a shit job. I mean, I've got to do it with the integral part because it's an ongoing job. I didn't realise it was going to be like it is. And now it's just, I'm delivering gifts from the afterlife now, going to people's places and doing things that are unimaginable. And it's just so beautiful and it's so nice. And I want it to keep going. But obviously one day I'm going to die and I don't know if it'll continue or not. I've got to put something in place where the dead will not get ripped off.
Yeah, and not easy. Okay, we're going to come back shortly with Bill and we're going to go get a bit deeper, and I want to talk about what you've learnt from the dying and also perhaps give some advice on people can actually get on with living. We'll be right back. So, Bill, your job would give great insight into death and dying. I mean, you're speaking with people that are dying on a regular basis, right?
Correct, yes.
Is there a common denominator? You say you can physically see it in people. Yeah. But is there a common philosophy or something that we go through, or are all people different?
No, I think there is one common denominator, and that would be that when people come to the realisation that the end is near and there's no going back, the fear of death is no longer there. It's the fear of leaving the loved ones behind. That is the biggest common denominator. It's the fear of leaving those behind. It's nothing else. Death is just death. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. And they don't care where they're going or what's going to happen after life. They just care about their loved ones and if they're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And that's the most common thing.
Yeah. And then are some people matter of fact and it just is what it is, and I suppose it's at different stages, right? Other people more into the philosophy around it or reliving their lives or, I don't know. I was dealing with someone a few weeks ago. I used to do a lot of palliative care, actually, and I just found some people, I'd say, is there anything that you want? And they go, no, I'm done.
They're done.
I'm done, just sit with me, dear, and that'd be nice, and then others want to really tell you about their whole lives and that's
I think there's stages for sure. There are stages. I mean, I've sat with one man that was only 32 years of age, and it was the most traumatic time I've ever spent doing this. Was with him. He didn't want to die. I don't want to die. He was screaming, I don't want to go. I don't want to die. I'm 32. I've got a family. I've just had a little boy. I don't want to die. And it was gut-wrenching because he was dying, and he went within 2 weeks, and everything he tried to do just didn't work, and he died, and it was a terrible feeling.
Yeah, that sucks, eh?
Big time.
Yeah. No, it really does. I wanted to talk about decluttering your life. That's what I'm calling it. Because ironically, reading your book, literally I cleaned out my mother's place, 3 weeks ago at her request, I'd like to say.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But man, it's just so hard watching all of those memories and you know what I mean? And you're just like, and actually it's almost harder when they're alive, right? Because you're trying to do that. But it really made me and my husband look at our lives and just go, God, it's just material stuff.
And this is what, I guess a great thing, a good feeling for me is that globally people are talking about death in a good way, not a bad way now. I've sort of opened a few doors, and the decluttering for me was I got rid of probably 80% of our shit because we didn't need it. It was just crap.
Yeah.
And it was the same with friends that were hanging on that weren't really friends, and people that, were dragging you down. I just got rid of everything and everyone in my life that I just didn't need. And they were sucking the life out of me, or things were sucking the life out of me. And I thought, you know what? I don't want my children to go through my shit and say, do we keep this? Do we throw it? Do we give it to salvos? I want to do it. So I'm doing it.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I've only done 3 rooms in my own house so far because I've been busy with Mum. So I've got a lot more to do, trust me. But, man, I felt good.
It's empowering.
It was, eh? And
for sure.
And I mean, the Japanese woman that told us all to, what's her name? Anyway, you're supposed to look at something and say, am I really holding on to this because it should be, and all that sort of stuff. But it's actually better than that. It is. It's you taking more power of your life.
It's all about power. That's exactly what it's about. It's the power within yourself to go, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to do it. It's my life. I bought it. I'm leaving it. I'm losing it, and I'm moving on, whatever.
Yeah, because as you say, being one of those kids right now at 55, but it is, I'm certainly, because I'm not the vulture, and so I'm just hating having to make decisions about things that I knew and know are important to Mum, and it's just like,
exactly.
Oh, God.
And that's the thing. So we don't want to do that for our children. We want to be able to go without them having that type of extra hassle, strain, and all the bullshit that goes with death,
Yeah, absolutely. How can we bring peace to the dying? What do you reckon? I mean, you've sat with a few.
I got to say, there's nothing more comforting than going and visiting them.
Yeah.
Being with them. You don't have to take anything, just take yourself, even if it's for a minute, because they're not going to stay awake for hours. I mean, they sleep a lot, or they're, drugged up or whatever it is. But just being there for that presence, not only for them, but you sort of feel something about yourself going in there. You feel good about it. You've done something. And don't fucking put it on social media. Say, I've just visited Grandma. She's dying and I feel so good visiting her. Look how happy she is. Well, fuck you. Just do it yourself. Don't play it around the world. I don't video any of the stuff I do. I video what I have to do legally and it's kept on my phone or in a secret place. But I will not go in like these people want me to do now from LA. They say, we want you to record, go in and no. What the fuck? It's not my funeral.
Yeah, that's awful.
I'm not about to expose everybody to that. No. And then people go, imagine how many likes you get. Oh, fuck you and your likes. You know what? I had a lady that had 250,000 followers, and she had thousands and hundreds of thousands of friends. And I went to her funeral and 6 turned up.
Wow.
6.
Wow. It's just so false, eh? Just not real.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah. And how lonely at some level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what a fake, pretentious life. There's just nothing there.
Yeah. No, I tuned up to see Mum. I go most days, and I tuned up yesterday and I sat down, and then after 5 minutes she said, I'm really wanting to catch up with one of the other women here. You can go now.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. I was like, all right then, Mum, thanks.
Yeah. And that's the thing, but at least you made the effort. A lot of people don't even make the effort. They just sit there and they go, I wonder how Jack's doing. No, Jack died last week. Oh, fuck, did he? I saw his daughter on social media saying how good he was doing. Yeah, because you saw it on social media. Big deal. It doesn't mean it's fact or truth or. Anyway.
No, I've been reading your book.
Okay.
What else am I going to do, She's a bit of a chuckle, I've got to say.
Excellent.
I beep out the sweary words because my mother wouldn't like that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I just say...
Send her my love and tell her that, I hope she has a great journey. Because you know what?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. People say to me, Bill, what do you think the meaning of life is? Well, the meaning of life is to avoid fucking death. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. It's to avoid death, right? Okay. And if you're going to die, like your mum is going to die one day, at least, look back and go, did I have a good... Yeah, I had a great time. If I didn't, get out of the bed now, even if you can't, or whatever you can do something and just do something that's so bizarre and so out there. And just go, that was cool.
Tell them the story about the woman and her husband had died years ago, and her kids had just kind of dumped her, right? And so she was just lonely.
Oh, camper van.
Yes. Go on, tell everyone that story, because this is the best advice. You just said, if you're not going to sit there and go,
This lady, she got in contact with me and she was all emotional and upset, and it was more on a PI capacity job she wanted me to do because she was getting forced into retirement care, and she had a house and it was worth a bit of money, and the 2 children they were forcing her into care so they could take over the house. And I said to her, look, you know what? You should get a camper van and take your dead husband's ashes with you and just travel Australia. And she says, I'd love to do that. I really could. I said, well, you got your driver's license. You're still capable of doing what you want to do. You go for a walk down the beach every day. You're quite fit and capable of doing this. So why don't you do it? She says, my kids. And I said, fuck your kids. Don't worry about that. So I looked into everything for her, and I found that she could rent her house. She could buy a camper van without any problem at all. The house could be rented and it would pay the rest of the mortgage and the camper van and her travel time and give her a bit of savings.
Wow.
And she was like, are you serious, Bill? I said, yeah, not a problem at all. So she found a camper van that she'd do, and she asked me to go up and have a look at it. And I had a look at it. I said, holy shit, this is great. Yeah, for sure. Let's get RACQ to look at it and get it all done and roadworthy. And it was beautiful. And now she's been gone for about, just over a year now. And every couple of months I get a little photo and a text saying, I'm in the sheep shearing shed in Western Australia and I'm cooking for 30 people and I'm travelling here and travelling there. And she's got a little Kelpie dog that goes with her and her husband's sitting on the dashboard in this jar of ashes. It's just beautiful. But her kids are forever saying, you're a bastard what you did to Mum. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's your mum. You should have bloody looked after her. I mean,
And I do love as well is that she, you helped her and she organised the camper van, did all that, rented the house out and everything. And then the first the kids knew about it was the first Facebook post she did.
Yeah, exactly. They had no idea. Actually, there was a police report that they filed a report that their mum was missing. And the police were like, you can file a report, but she ain't missing. And then all of a sudden this Facebook post comes up that she's travelling and it was just gold. I love that.
Yeah. But it is, we undervalue older age sometimes though, don't we? Just because I'm doing it, with my mum, and even yesterday she was like, I don't like that chair in my room and they keep putting that chair back in my room, and I said, actually, Mum, you're in charge of your life.
That's
You
right.
know, I'm here to
Exactly.
support you and love you, and I'll do whatever
Yeah.
you want. But if you don't want that chair in the room, you do not have to have that chair in the room.
That's
You know,
right.
just because
Yeah.
you're older and you're dying doesn't mean actually you
That's
lose
right.
your power.
Open the door,
and
grab the chair, and throw the fucking thing out.
Yeah. You know, and
exactly.
it's just like, and I just thought, we just devalue because she's older that she shouldn't have a choice as to what frickin' chair she has in her room.
I've never come across elder abuse so much in my life as I have in the last couple of years. It is just tragic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow it to happen to myself, my wife, or anybody that I know, because it's just not. It's not on. Just because we're getting older, it doesn't mean we're dead.
Yeah.
We're not dead till we're dead.
So my advice to people out there is, if you can't get a bill, do get yourself a champion. I know
absolutely.
I'm my mother's champion. I know.
Exactly. Yep.
And I know.
And that's what I tell people. Anybody can be a coffin confessor. Anybody. You're at a funeral, or you're at a wake, or you're at a will reading, and you're hearing shit that you don't accept, or you know positively that didn't happen. Stand up and say, excuse me, that's not right.
Yeah.
My mum was this, this, and this. She wasn't like you, this bloke's saying, or that lady's saying, whatever, But you can interject. It's not,
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Good on you. The afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just don't know, do we? You've asked. I remember one guy. You said to me a
Tell me.
favour. You tell me. He didn't come back to you, obviously.
No one's ever come back to me, but we all have our own personal thoughts and feelings on that. For me, it's just you're dead. But I mean, obviously, you'd like to think that you meet up with family and friends and all that shit at the afterlife party and this and that. But I'm not going to say whether there is or isn't. What I do know is that, I've said quite lately, I've said it a lot, that we all live and then we die. So we live dying, and very few of us die living.
Yeah.
And I'm going to die living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going out in a blaze of glory. Don't you worry about that.
That's it.
So I'm quite convinced now that there's not an afterlife, because my grandmother talked about death for 20 years, and she was absolutely convinced that there was reincarnation and absolutely convinced about the afterlife. I mean, I'm just, obsessed with it. And so she promised she would let me know. And so I figure if it was out there, she would have let me know. Yeah,
and that's it. I mean, how many people... Oh, fuck, there's still people holding their breath waiting for Jesus to come back. But I mean, and I often say to people, especially religious people, and I'm not either way, I really don't care.
No.
I always say that I'm definitely not religious. But, at the same time, I do reference, in certain things, like I'll say to people, if you don't sin, then Jesus died for nothing. So you've got to keep him alive.
Yeah,
all those sinners. You've got to keep him going.
Yeah. Give him a reason. They're probably looking out for Elvis though as well.
Well, yeah, why not?
So you talked a bit about LA. So is Hollywood after you? What do you think is going to happen there?
Oh, I'm doing some beautiful things with some great people. I mean, it's just all over the world, which is going on right now. Believe it or not, they're actually just in the last week talking to New Zealand and the big TV networks over there about what they want to do.
Awesome.
And it's really, really exciting. So, we have a producer here in Australia that produces one of your shows over there, which is one of your best drama series over there at the moment. So he's working on that, and we've got a great cast and crew and everything so
who would play you?
You know what? It's one of those things. When I very first started this, and they said, it's going to be a movie and this and that, who you want? And I said, Ryan Reynolds would be great. And then all of a sudden the directors and producers came to me, we all sat down, and they said, what about a woman? And I went, what about a woman? Yeah, cool. Let's do a woman. And so we've been going that direction lately. And this particular woman who's really hot to trot has said, yes, I'm gonna do it. So, and she also has connections with New Zealand. So it's going to be interesting.
Oh, that does sound interesting. Okay, that's a bit of a watch this space, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would love to know what is the best advice you were ever given and who gave it to you.
Best advice I was ever given, it was many, many years ago, and it was, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. And that was given to me by a prison guard when I was coming out of prison on my 21st birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, it changed my life.
That changed your life, and I mean, you've been married for years, right? And you've been with
I was waiting for you to bring this.
You've been with your wife for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I stole a school uniform at the age of 15, jumped into a school after being a street kid. I wanted to be around kids, and I walked into this school, sat in this classroom, told the teacher I was a new student, and this girl sitting behind me told her friend that she was going to marry me.
Yeah.
It's 40 years now.
Wow. Incredible. I've done some work with prisoners and that sort of thing, and we always said the way that you can get most of these men to turn their lives around is the love of a good woman and a baby.
Oh, absolutely. Without doubt. And you know the other thing, you know what I did? Is I took my shoes off at the front gate and I walked off with a pair of socks, and the prison officer said, "Hey, Billy, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going." He says, "Your shoes?" I said, "No, they brought me in here. There's no way they're going to fucking bring me back."
Wow. Okay, this has been an absolutely fascinating chat. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm really excited about what's coming next. Bill's new book, The Afterlife Confessional, is out now. I highly, highly recommend it. I'm not sure my mother does, as she's, going through. But that's okay.
That's all good.
Yeah.
All good. You can get the audible and bleep out the swearing.
And then she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Just go and listen to some past guests, re-listen to Bill, because this has been so much fun. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.